So today we're starting off talking about young children, and the title is Crafting Curiosity. So I want to kind of show you guys different ways that you can create an environment in your school for your students to be curious and creative and to learn how children are supposed to. So if we think about children like our kindy classes, like 2 years old, 3 years old to about 6 or 7, first grade you can put in the same group actually. How do children learn? Play and exploration. So when I think about teaching and I reflect on my own teaching, I often think about my own experience as a learner, and I go back and think about my childhood. And now that I'm a mother, I also think about how my own children learned to speak English and Japanese and do anything, really. And so pretty much ever since they were little, all they ever did was play and explore. And it doesn't matter if we're in the house, they're playing store, house, doctor, right? Princess, superhero, ninja. And then, but even if we go anywhere else, they're playing. So when we go to the beach and my husband's surfing, they're going to find whatever trash or nature on the beach, and they're going to play camp or something like that. So, and then they're also exploring. They're finding dead fish or shells or sea stars, right? And then asking, what's this, right? So if you think about when children are playing, they're always learning, because what are they doing when they're playing? They're talking, right? They're imitating the woman at the shop. They're imitating their mom, their teacher. They're practicing speaking in different situations. They're practicing different life situations. They're interacting and speaking with each other. So it's intertwined, play and exploration. And when they're exploring, and play and language. And when they're exploring, they're asking why when they find stuff, right? So, or what's this? So that's kind of the next one. Children learn by talking and asking questions. So our children are always asking us, why? Why? To where it gets ridiculous and you're like, oh my gosh, laughing. I don't know if everyone else had that feeling. Did you guys ever feel like that with your kids? You're like giggling. Oh my gosh, here we go again. Okay, so kids are always asking, what's this? Why? Next, children learn through creation and imagination. So kids are always trying to make things. They're drawing pictures and things like this. My son made this. Yeah, he always makes stuff still. My husband, he does renovation and design, so we have like a big junk pile kind of behind a shed, and my son always goes there and gets like scrap metal and makes really dangerous weapons. And I'm like, I don't think you should take that to your friend's house. But then secretly inside, I'm like, it's so cute. He's being so creative. So, but creativity is really important in children. And it's so that they can try new things. They can practice new things. They can be original. And have you guys ever seen this TED Talk by Sir Ken Robinson? It's I highly recommend that you watch it. It's all about creativity in children and how adults kill it. Yeah, our education system. So he says all kids have tremendous talents and we squander them. And he also goes on to say, kids will take a chance. If they don't know, they'll have a go. They're not afraid of being wrong. So it's, and then he goes on to say, if you're not prepared to be wrong, you will never come up with anything original. It's really powerful. You guys can take notes. I will send everybody this PowerPoint after too, just so you have it. Yeah. So this is really important in just life in general, and letting kids draw pictures and not tell them where the eyes have to go or the mouth, right? Not doing cookie cutter crafts where everything looks the same, because we don't want kids to think there's only one way to draw a picture, because then they think, I can't draw, right? But it's not just about drawing. For me, this is really important about language, because if we don't give our students the opportunity to be creative when they're speaking and think of their own idea and make mistakes and mess up and say funny things, but use whatever they have to communicate and be creative with language, if we only do drills and this is the right way to say it and this is how you say it, they're never going to think, they're going to think that They can't be wrong. They're never going to be able to speak. Well, not never, but we're eliminating that kind of freedom and ability that they have naturally to just try to use language and be creative. So that's really important for language and just in general in your classroom. So now that we know play is how kids learn, many famous people throughout history or people who studied children have said this. Maria Montessori said, play is the work of a child. She was a famous educator, famous for the Montessori method. Did you guys ever grow up watching Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood? Yes, maybe Americans did. But he says play is often talked about as if it were a relief from serious learning. But for children, play is serious learning. So children learn through play. Why? Why play? Well, Jean Piaget, the famous child psychologist who studied cognitive development, he says that in the pre-operational stage, learning is not about memorization, but it's about discovery. So we need students to use the language, discover the language, find the language that we're teaching them, not just memorizing it and not using it. Memories are more easily recalled when a child is a participant as opposed to an observer. And finally, children who engage in more complex pretend play show more intellectual and social advancement. So, Jean Piaget says the goal of education is not to increase the amount of knowledge, but to create the possibilities for a child to invent and discover. So I want to kind of share ways today that we can create opportunities in our classrooms for kids to invent, discover, play, use language, practice using it, be creative, and things like that. And he also says language development is closely tied to cognitive growth. That's kind of what we talked about. When they play, they're talking. When they make something, they're talking. So it's all kind of intertwined. Play is crucial for cognitive development, and children learn best when engaged in learning. So when they're doing the learning, when they're hands-on experiences, when they're making things, when they're exploring, when they're solving problems. And then there's one more famous child psychologist who I want to talk about. It's Lev Vygotsky. And he says, child's greatest achievements are possible in play. Achievements that tomorrow will become her basic level of real action. So when kids are imitating their teacher or their mom, they're practicing speaking things that they're going to say in the future. So if we're teaching kids how to speak English, whatever they're playing and practicing, maybe they'll use outside the classroom in real life. Vygotsky believed cognition advanced through social interactions and problem solving. But what's really important that's different from his kind of in his philosophy is children can become frustrated if the learning process feels too difficult. So we need to choose tasks and challenges in the zone of proximal development. So it's kind of like if you think about, if you just picked up a story, I brought a book actually. Dun, dun, dun. Okay. This book's cute. It has cute pictures. It looks simple. But if I read this to my students who are 3 years old or 4 years old, today I tried to teach a spider how to dig. First of all, his legs got stuck. I think I've twisted my ankles. The kids don't know any of this language. So even though it seems simple and it's cute, it's way too over their head. And they're just going to hear blah, 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 blah. And then they're going to get frustrated because it's too difficult. So if you think about when we have children, we start by reading concept books to babies, just pictures and words. It's a triangle, it's a square, it's a bunny or whatever, or it's fast, it's slow. And then we slowly build and read books with sentences. And that's how children start to learn to speak too. Babies say, mama. And then they say, apple. And then they say, want apple or something, right? So they're slowly building their language. And so we have to remember that when we're teaching as well. And we need to make sure what we're teaching or what we're doing is in the zone of proximal development. So if you did your reflection and you think, oh, my students don't get engaged when I read a story, or not all the time, maybe it's because the book that you chose is too high level or something, they don't understand all the language that's in the story. And finally, he thinks that we should provide support from a more knowledgeable other, which would be us, the teacher, or a mother, or another student in the class who knows more they can teach their classmate or their friend. So going back to Piaget's pre-operational stage, it's from 2 to 7 years old, and this is how children learn in that stage, through pretend play and imitation, parallel play, because they're trying to learn their own fine motor skills and how things work, so they might not be as social in this kind of play, through creativity, art and drawing, and through verbal descriptions, describing things they see or things that they made and things like this. So I want to talk about how to create these kind of opportunities in the classroom. And then, on top of just play, like Nina said, kids learn through picture books and reading. So why should we read to children? Because reading develops language skills, like vocabulary, grammar, rhythm, and expression. How many people read Brown Bear in your classrooms, right? Why is it so famous? It's easy, right? It's in their zone of proximal development. The kids can see the picture, they hear the colors and the animals, so they can learn the new vocabulary. Why else? It has a good rhythm. It's like a song, right? It's like a rap. My husband's like, that's a rap song. You can rap it, right? Because it has a good rhythm, and it's repetitive, right? So that's why kids love it. It's teaching kids rhythm, vocabulary. Grammar is also, what do you see? I see, right? So they're learning so much from such a simple book. But they can also, a lot of books have repetition, rhythm, things like that. And kids can learn the language naturally. Also, good books spark curiosity about the world by introducing new ideas, cultures, and concepts. So, for example, this book, the kids can learn about the different levels of the rainforest, the animals that live in the rainforest, what they can do, leap or swing. They can travel to Africa and go see different animals that live on the savannah. They can learn about the life cycle of a caterpillar. Right? So kids can learn all of these things through books. Reading together encourages critical thinking and creates opportunities for conversation. So when we read books to our children, we can ask them questions, right? What's this? A snake. Do you like snakes? Do you think snakes are scary? Why? Or do you like snakes? Why not? Or whatever. This book is Ketchup on Your Reindeer, and you can ask the kids, do you like ketchup on your reindeer? Do you like antlers on your reindeer? So you can have conversations with your students. Continuing that, reading together improves concentration, memory by strengthening skills like attention, sequencing, and recall. So if we read a story, we can ask our students what happened before in the story, what they think will happen next, and things like this. And when they're sitting together, they're concentrating on the story for a long period of time together. Reading fosters empathy and helps children to understand emotions and feelings. I think this is really important because kids just watch TikTok and YouTube now, which doesn't foster empathy at all. It's like constant commercial. So reading books is really important. And kids can relate with the characters in the story. And they can see, oh my gosh, her shirt ripped. Like, that happened to me before. They can understand the feelings of the characters and relate with them. And reading together helps us to create a bond with our students. When we read with our students, they can sit in our lap, we can be silly together, we can get to know them more. And finally, what makes a good picture book? So we know that reading to our students is good, but what makes a good picture book? So a good picture book is engaging and relatable. To be engaging, it has to be in their zone of proximal development. They have to know enough vocabulary to be able to understand the story. It needs to be developmentally appropriate. So for really young children, they love books about animals, right? And it's simple and fun. They love books about being silly, right? So we have to think about the level of the kids and the things that they might be interested in and find books like that. It has appealing illustrations that are consistent with the text. It's really important that the books that we read, that the picture matches the text because it helps kids to follow along, understand the story. And also appealing illustrations have more than just the story. So they can find fun things in the pictures. They can see the emotions of the characters and things like that. It has rich language that may include rhythm or repetition, like we said before. A lot of books that are good for EFL have rhythm and repetition, but not all. There's so many kinds of good books. Encourages thought and conversation. So after you read a book, if the kids are thinking about it, especially when they're older, like, oh, makes you think. There's a lot of things that you can talk about on the page or with each other and ask your students about the pictures or what happened or what they think. It plays with sounds, words, and expressions. So expressions like, oh no, or look over there, things like this, that the kids can learn how to speak with expression. They can enjoy like following along with the story and reading along, and they can learn new words in fun ways. It builds connections with the world, so they can learn about new things, like we said before. And finally, it sparks imagination and inspires creativity. So there's so many different ways that you can. Some picture books don't have every single thing, but different parts of that. Most picture books do. Okay, now that we know, kids learn through play, and kids benefit from being read to. I want to talk about how you can use these ideas and create opportunities in the classroom for your kids to be creative and play and learn through picture books. So I want to talk about how to bring a story to life. So we're going to start with this book. It's Haunted House, Hide and Seek. And before I read this book with my students, I want to make sure that they know enough vocabulary that they can engage in the story and enjoy it and understand what's happening. So there's so many ways that we can teach vocabulary. We have flashcards too. We teach the kids sometimes through flashcard activities and games. But if we look here, the book also has the vocabulary, and they can find it on the page. So the page is not just showing the vocabulary, it's interactive. So what's this? A table. And where's the table? Here. Okay. Is there a table in your living room? We can ask more questions if the kids can understand. And then we can teach about the furniture in the bathroom and things like this. We can teach about family with this or with cards or something. We can also show prepositions like where's the cat. But this isn't so fun. I mean, finding it on the page is a little bit fun, but how do kids really learn? Through play. So we want to do more interactive activities with our students so that they can learn through play. And you can do any kind of activities that let your kids be creative. So our kids made haunted houses and things like this. And then, are you okay? Cool. Yep. It's okay? Okay. And then this book is Haunted House, Hide and Seek. So I teach my kids how to play hide and seek. And I made like a chant out of it. And I have a video, but I need to turn this on. This song is also part of the story. So I usually pre-teach this before we read the story so that they can kind of sing along during the story. So this is step 2, read the story. But I'm going to read the story after this. Talk about the story and then live the story. But we're going to live the story first, a little bit backwards. So here are my kids playing hide and seek. Oops.
Yeah, hide and seek.
You can just see they're being kids, but in English.
I see you.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah, so they just always want to play that. And that was when I first taught them. And this is actually a year later. We just did it as a review for Halloween for a different presentation. I was like, oh, we're doing the presentation. I should take a video. I didn't know we took the other video. They made ghosts for Halloween, and we played ghost hide and seek. And they also played this. So they're being the leaders this time. Okay. So it's the same thing, but you can see that first I taught them, and then they became the leaders. So then also, that's kind of bringing this story to life, and I just kind of want to read. I might not read the whole book, but I'll show you how I read the story. So now we know that the kids have learned family, rooms in the house, furniture, and prepositions. So we've taught them all of the vocabulary, not everything, but to be able to really engage with the story. So Mama Ghost, Daddy Ghost, Brother Ghost, and Sister Ghost live in a big old house. And then I can ask my kid, who's Mommy Ghost? Where's Mommy Ghost? Oh, who's this? Sister Ghost. So I can interact with the story and ask questions. The ghost family likes to relax in the living room. One day, Grandpa and Grandma Ghost come to visit. Knock, knock, knock. And then all the kids want to knock. Yeah. Knock, knock, knock. Yeah. So, okay. Let's play hide and seek, says Grandpa Ghost. The ghost family sings the hide and seek song. So, hide and seek, hide and seek. And my kids already will sing along. Let's play hide and seek. Who's it? I'm it, says Grandpa. Grandpa counts, and we all count together. So they can already be part of the story and engage. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And Grandpa walks into the living room. Do you see anyone? Who's in the living room? Can you see? Can you see? And boo! I see you. It's Grandma. Grandma Ghost. She's sitting on the sofa. So on the sofa in the living room, and here she is. You can see her clothes, but not her ghost. So now the kids know how to look for the next family member. So Grandpa walks into where's Grandpa? What room? Kitchen. Yeah, Grandpa walks into the kitchen. Who's in the kitchen? Who's in the kitchen? Can you see? Who's in the kitchen? Daddy? Is it Daddy? I don't know. Da-da-da. Boo! I see you. Grandpa finds Dad. He is hiding under the table. So, and it goes on and on. So then he goes into the bathroom. He finds Mom in the bathtub. He goes into the bedroom. He finds Sister in the bed. And where's Brother? He can't find Brother anywhere. But Brother has been following him the entire time. Yeah, and he finds Brother behind him. And let's play again. Hide and seek, hide and seek. And then we'll play together as a class. So you can see, once the kids have learned the vocabulary and they've learned the song, it's much more fun for them to read the story. And then they can play the activities, and we can also do recall. So we can ask where did they hide, and they can tell us in the living room and things like this. And we can play more with things like this as before and after we read the story. And then the kids can take this home, and it's animated, sort of. Is it animated? I don't know. It's red. I read it on the app, and it's moves a little bit, I think. So they can practice at home with mom, and they can also play these activities at home if they want to. And that's the first. And next, I want to share another story with you called 3, 2, 1, Boom. And you can probably guess it's about a summer festival and fireworks. Okay? So this time, we're going to teach the kids about shapes and colors, and then about foods that they like and stuff like this. And do you like it? Yes, I know, whatever. And festival. And we're going to have a festival with our students. And so I kind of want to do some activities with shapes. So I usually make a bunch of shapes, and then I have my students, I hold up pictures of different toys and things like this and let them do that.
We need something 3D.
Can we please have the dots? Thank you.
Egg white, put yellow on top.
Okay, we're going to pretend we're in the class. And so my students and I will do this together. I'll put a bunch of things out. So all of the stories you can I created them that they're repetitive, using the same language again and again throughout the story. The kids kind of learn the vocabulary before so that they can engage with the story. We do a lot of creative play and pretend play to practice using the language in kind of like a real, play situation. And the kids can play with the language and speak more freely, and they can lead the activities, they can be the leaders, and then they can bring the story to life through play and reenacting it, or mini plays. Like if you wanted to do a mini play at your school, for parents even, you can do that. Okay, and then the last book I want to kind of show you guys different things again today is the newest book that I made. It's my favorite. It's called Penguin Pirates, and first we teach them different animals. This book also is like a pirate adventure. The penguins become pirates. So with our students, we'll make like pirate hats, and we can go on a pirate adventure. And we also make these telescopes. You can make binoculars too. I brought some, but I don't think we will make it. But if you want to know how, you can, and you can take it home. Yeah. So we use just paper cups, and they can color it or put stickers on it, and then we just use toilet paper rolls, and we wrap them very simple. And now we have a pirate telescope and a hat, which makes it way more fun for the kids and more real. And we can go on a pirate adventure and look for animals. We can go on a nature hunt. We can do all these things. And then this story also teaches feelings. And so there's one more thing I want to show you, but I have to turn the cards. Hold on. Dun, dun, dun. Are these them? Yes. Okay. So I didn't put it up. I'll show you guys. So we teach the kids different opposites, like feelings. So happy and wet, noisy, bored, fast, brave, hot, up, scared, cold, slow, down, sad, dry, quiet, excited. So they learn these different emotions like happy, sad, excited, quiet, bored, hot, cold, scared. Where's scared? Is scared on here? Anyways, maybe it's not on here, but we teach them all the emotions as well. And then we ask our students how they feel, and we can do some activities like that. But I like asking my students more open-ended questions, so to get them thinking, and this doesn't have one right answer. I think it's really important that we don't always ask questions with only one right answer. So I can ask my students, how does he feel? You think he's thirsty? So we say, he or it looks thirsty. I think it looks thirsty. Or I think the fox looks thirsty. Or however you want to say it with your students. How does he feel?
Hot. He feels hot.
Yeah, he feels hot. Or he looks hot. Okay. Oopsies. Let's do it first. Let me see a good one. Okay. How does it feel?
Oh, I think it feels hungry.
Okay, it feels hungry. It looks hungry. What do you think? It looks?
I think it looks warm.
It looks warm. Okay. What do you think?
It looks happy.
It looks happy. So there's so many different answers that you can say. So how about this one? How does it feel?
Sleepy.
It looks sleepy, yeah. How about this group? How does it feel? Bored, okay. Yeah, and that's actually one of the words. Good. So all the kids can have their own idea and opinion, and they can all share and talk about it, and this is more of an open-ended question than just saying, is he sleepy? Yes, he is. Yeah. How is he? He's hungry. How is he? He's happy. It's just like not giving the kids any idea to think for themselves or have their own ideas or opinions. But if you do kind of an open-ended kind of activity like this, it gives the students the opportunity to have their own ideas, their own feelings, and kind of talk about things. And there's not an incorrect answer. So on the back of our cards, we give like the ideas, but we put ... because anything is okay. And there's just a variety of animals like this one. And sometimes kids don't know actually what this means if a cat does this. Yeah, do you know? How does it feel? Surprised? Angry? Maybe? Yeah, scared, right? So some kids are like, happy! But I say, okay, yeah. So it doesn't matter because it's just their opinion and their feeling. So that's really important. And then I'm going to read the story. So, dun, 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 dun. Good. So, penguin pirates. So, it's so cold. It's so white. It's so quiet. 3 penguins live on the ice. They are bored. The penguins have an idea. What's their idea? What's their idea? Treasure. Yeah, and some kids might say, kaidake, you know? Yeah, but that's okay, because they listen and they're answering. I say, oh, they want to be pirates, okay. So they find a ship. And they set off on a pirate adventure. Dun, dun, dun. Yeah. Okay? It's so cold. It's so blue. It's so quiet. The penguins are bored again. They meet a red and brown woodpecker. And they follow it to a forest. So now in the forest, so the penguins look for treasure. They walk up and down and all around. And in the forest, there's a lot of the animals that they studied about. But the animals' names aren't in the story. So the kids will say, oh, look, a wolf. Or look, a skunk. The things like this. And those are the animals that actually live in the forest. Oh, too bad. No treasure. He has binoculars. So we can even use this too if we want to. Wait, look. What's that? So it's using the language from the story. Treasure! What's their treasure? Sticks. Yeah. The penguins find sticks. Woohoo! Now they have pirate swords. So now we can show the kids like to play swords with sticks, things like this. It's using their imagination. The penguins say goodbye. And they set off on their next adventure. Where will they go? Yeah, they can ask what they think. Because they've studied different, the ice, and so we can ask questions like this. because they've already learned vocabulary. Huh? It's so sunny because they also learned weather. Yeah. It's so hot. I'm so thirsty. The penguins are bored again. They meet a pink flamingo. They follow it to, dun, 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 dun. Where do pink flamingos live? A desert. And just background information, the forest is the Patagonia, and the desert is, do you guys know if they go up from Antarctica to the Patagonia, to the Atacama Desert? So all the animals are actually from the Patagonia that we saw in the last one, and these are from the Atacama Desert. Yeah, so actually they're learning more, but they don't know it. And neither did you. Yeah. Okay, so the penguins look for treasure. They walk up and down and all around, and now the kids can see a scorpion and a llama. And too bad, no treasure. Wait, look, what's that? Treasure! What did they find? Mud! Yeah, it could be lava. They found mud. Woohoo! Now they have body paint. The penguins say goodbye and set off on their next adventure. And then it's windy and stormy and wavy, and they meet a blue-footed booby. Do you know where they're going? Does anybody know where blue-footed boobies live? Da-da-da-dun, da-dun. An island. The Galapagos Islands. And the penguins look for treasure. They walk up and down and all around. Too bad, no treasure. Wait, look. What's that? Treasure. The penguins find a big rock. Woohoo! Now they have a friend. The rock is a tortoise. Yeah. The penguins and the tortoise say goodbye and set off on their next adventure. So this story is longer than some of the stories we might read to our children. But because we've already pre-taught most of all of the vocabulary and played with it and acted it out and pretended, the kids, and because the story is repetitive, the kids, probably the second time you read it, will be reading along with you. Yeah. So, oh no, they're in a storm again. They meet a gray and white eagle. They follow it to a jungle, the Amazon rainforest. The penguins and the tortoise look for treasure. They walk up and down and all around. They see a sloth, a capybara, frogs, and too bad, no treasure. Wait, look, what's that? Treasure! The penguins find a big leaf. Woohoo! Now they have an umbrella. Uh-oh, this is not good. A pirate ship melted. No more adventures. So, wait, look. What's that? Yeah, it's a whale. It's a whale. Hop on. The penguin pirates and their tortoise mate set off on their next adventure. They visit the city, and this is San Diego. That's where I'm from. Yeah, it's so fun. They eat tacos, they watch a game, and they surf big waves. And they dream of their next adventure. And now the kids can guess where they think they want to go next, or where did they want to go on an adventure. And so it is open to lots of conversation that you can have with your students. How will they go? And where will they go? And then we can recall what happened in the story with them. And you can actually see their map of their trip. And we're going to add videos with information about each place. Yeah. So that's that story. Yay! And we have a bunch of different storybooks that are all kind of the same style. I don't really have time, so I'm not going to go through one more story, but I do want to show you. This one is called Don't Stop Yet, and they learn about the town and transportation. And so we have in the back of the book like the cars, and then we have the kids bring in a milk carton. They have a race. And also in the back, oopsies, of the book, there's like these streetlights. So our kids learn how to play the famous game. What's it? Do you guys know? Red light, green light. And they lead that with the class. We also make like these roads. The kids can make them themselves. I had already had these, so we didn't. And we also take the town cards and we make the classroom into a big map. Or they put the road all over the floor and they put the town cards in between the roads or around it. And then they can drive their cars when they play red light, green light, or, dun, 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 over here. We also have like the play cars that they learn, so they can use like Tomika or whatever you have. This is like my kids' old toys. And they can drive around the room and go to the different places in town. You can give them cards of like what to buy, and they'll drive to the shop or whatever. They'll go to the supermarket to get a drink or whatever, so you can make different activities for them to do things like that. And then one more thing is my right-hand man. He's been my teacher for 10 years, and he helps design all the books. His name is Chris. He has a son, so he thinks of all these cool like ideas that boys like, and so he made it so all of the books can go together, and that the road's the exact size of Tomika. And then the kids can drive through the books and connect their books together. Yeah, so we can do things like that. So the kids can practice driving and doing things like that. And the kids also did like bunny hop races, because this is a book about a race through the town. And the turtle, let's see. I'll just show you really quickly because it's almost 12. But it's the big carrot race. He wants to race, but he can't hop. And then there's one spot left. Someone didn't show up, and so he says, I want to race. He puts on bunny ears. And then, ready, set, go. And the 4 rabbits start, and 1 turtle start the race. They hop past the supermarket, and they also learned feelings as well in this book. So he says, I'm hungry. He hops into the market. I'm hungry too, says Turtle. But all his friends drive by in a bus and say, don't stop yet. And then he goes in the pool. He's hot. He wants to swim. Don't stop yet. So it's just like this. So it's repetitive, and the kids can practice feelings and emotions and town, things in the town, and transportation. And they can learn, they can do a maze, they can play red light, green light, and they can have races and drive around the classroom. So there's lots of ways that we can play with our students. I think it's much more valuable, and the kids will learn more if we play instead of just doing drill, drill, drill. I think drill is important to get, you can do that at the beginning, but then use what you've taught them afterwards. So I just shared a bunch of stuff. You guys can see the other storybooks as well. Does anybody have any questions before we go to lunch? Yes?
How long are your kindergarten classes?
50 minutes. Yeah, actually, Naomi, David's school, they use these books as well. And how long?
3 hours.
Yeah, they have it 3 hours. So actually, all the books have a teacher's guide. I actually wrote the teacher's guide for their school for like a longer period of time. So it gave me lots of, I thought of a lot of different extra activities. And at my school, we don't do all the activities, but usually you'll sing whatever songs that you need. Like if you're going to do, for example, this, we might sing like walking in the jungle song, or whatever. There's lots of animal songs, things like this. And then we'll do animal play, something like go on an animal hunt, and that's our activity for the day. We might do the flashcards first to practice, then go on the animal pirate adventure, and then read a book at the end. So it's very doable in a 50-minute class. One book is, no, I use one book for about 3 or 4 months. Because one book has, for example, this book will teach for 1 month feelings. The next month, transport and maybe town the next month or something like this. Or you could do transport and colors and red light, green light, stop and go, and then we'll do town and things that you want to buy. And then that's 3 months. And then the last bit, we start reading the story. And in these bits, we read other picture books that I like. And also in the teacher's guide, I recommend other picture books that I think are good for learning. Yeah? Any other questions? Yes.
You spoke a lot about creating the materials.
Yeah.
Is it also like in the span of one lesson where you would just create the
Yeah.
materials?
Yeah. So because we only have 50 minutes, if we made these, that would be probably like a song and a something, and then I would show them the pictures and talk about the festival pictures, and then we'll just spend the rest of the class making the foods, and then I'll save it in a big cardboard box in the closet, and then the next week we'll pull it out. Yeah. So it's not like maybe you guys can make it and then play with it because you have 3 hours, though.
But we don't only use
Yeah, you use other things, right? Yeah. So,
but we can adjust.
yeah. So they're also doing like phonics and reading and things like that, and then using this as their other supplement. So they're not just doing this for 3 hours, right? Yeah. So I think it's good for like preschool kindy classes. That's what we use it for. I think you could use it for like summer camps or even elementary kids for like supplement to phonics textbook or something like that. But I think it's way more fun for kids, and it gives them opportunity to just use language more naturally and be more creative and learn how kids are supposed to learn. Yeah. Yes?
How long does it take to finish the book?
Oh, yeah, maybe 3 months or 4 months. So usually at my school, we're using about 3 books in 1 year. Around that. Because we also have like Halloween, Christmas, summer. So we kind of, at first I was trying to use more. And we also do alphabet book. So now we're just choosing 3 books for 1 year.
So you don't use Hello You just for
For kindergarten and preschool, we only use this and an alphabet book. And then because it's one, that after like 4 months they get a new book. It's kind of exciting for the kids. Yeah. Yeah.
I really like how like the stories that you shared.
Yeah.
Like, they're also very funny.
Oh yeah. Thank you.
Like, funny and random. I mean, like
Yeah.
by the leaf.
Yeah.
I know there's like a pattern for it, but for
Yeah.
kids, I'm like, wow.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. Anything else? Nahomi's using these with her Saturday class, right?
Saturday immersion class. So
Yeah.
we've used besides
This.
the one,
Yeah.
the whole 8 books.
Yeah.
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 It's the second year, like finishing the 8th book.
Yeah.
And it's really, kids really love it. Yeah. So, for example, so hide and seek, right?
Yeah.
So we use the book during Halloween
Yeah.
time,
Yeah.
and
Same.
then we had the kids make headbands, ghost headbands.
Yeah.
And they put it on their head, and then they did the hide and seek. So it's more like personalized. I found Nina's ghost
Oh, cool.
under the table. Other things, shapes, right? We did.
Yeah.
We went to the park
Ah.
and did the shape scavenger hunt. So kids needed to be really creative. So when they didn't find the heart, they wrote the clover petal.
Oh, yeah.
This is a heart, and then if they say like, "I found a heart," and then we give them stamps to complete the.
Oh, that's a really good idea. Nice.
hunt. Yeah, so some of them drew a diamond, and I found a diamond. Yeah, so kids really need to be creative.
Nice.
Then Katie gave us a lot of ideas of activities, and
Yeah.
kids really love it.
Thank you. Yeah. Yay. Cool. Is lunch arrived yet? I think we can just take a break and like kind of clean up. Lunch should be coming soon, and yeah. So we'll do that. Get ready for lunch. If you guys want, just so you guys know, all my books are here, and then these are also from the Hello You series. All my students' projects, not all of them, but the ones that they didn't take home. They're kind of separated into different categories. And then down here are a bunch of the different student-made posters. So if you want to take a look, if you have free time today and you're interested in that, you can. Otherwise, bathroom, drinks, clean up, stretch, relax. Okay, thank you for round 1. Yeah, scissors, after clean up, yep.